do 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 do. And we have to talk about your happy chemicals. Hi, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo. Want to help you get your mojo back. And I like to use transformational astrology and little tips and tricks to help you do that. Okay, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about your happy hormones, but first let's just check in. Who's here? Oh boy, I didn't get any sleep last night. I don't know why. My husband and I both woke up early in the morning to find a beautiful blanket of snow outside that is mostly melted, but talk about hormones and the happy hormones. Whee! What am I flying on right now? Maybe some endorphins. Okay, so who's here? Come say hello to me. Let me know your birthday. We're going to be talking more about hormones in the future, but I just wanted to, in case you're not familiar with them, we're going to talk about the 3 top happy hormones. There's actually over 70 in your body at any given time. And when one goes a little bit askew, there's a little chaos that ensues in your body. But there's these 3 hormones that we're going to talk about today: dopamine and serotonin, and then also oxytocin. I'm going to make up my own words today. Just for a little while. So let me know you're here. And as we head and slide into the Mercury in retrograde in Pisces, things are going to get a little more interesting, especially, I talked about the do's and don'ts last time. I'm just going to recap really quickly, just in case you missed it or I missed a few things. You want to be really careful when you're traveling in a Mercury in retrograde that you assume that the road is open when it's not, and you get blocked and you can't get to your destination, or that you're traveling to that hotel. You always want to call ahead. Sometimes we assume things like, oh yeah, they have a pool, but little did you know that in a retrograde, most things go into construction mode so that you might not be able to utilize certain facilities. Whether you're going on vacation or it's a business trip, this is something you want to look at. I'm going to grab my cards for people. Hey, Dean's here, and he's right over there too. What's your birthday? Hey, what's your sign? That's what I want to know before we start talking about these happy hormones. Now, you know, there's one hormone in your body that will wreak havoc. And in the lifestyle that we live today, hi, Gina. Hi. We've got a, let me see. Let me grab my paper too, just so I can write these things down. But the one hormone that wreaks havoc is cortisol. And that comes from your adrenals when you're in the fight or flight mode. That's the one that creates the big belly, that muffin top that you can't seem to get rid of, because when you're on a constant adrenaline rush and you can't, and then eventually you can't calm down, what happens is you get so overwhelmed that you get locked into a trauma stage. Now, as I said the other day, that kind of energy is okay for paramedics or people in search and rescue, right? But, you know, we don't want to be living with that. So it's really important that you look at things like herbs. Always check with your medical professionals and do your own research. Things like ashwagandha herbs help to calm and relax your adrenals. Gives you energy, but calms things down so you're not so overwhelmed. And I just want to get to that because I know so many people are, you know, juggling so many things. And how do you get stuff done if you're in constant stress mode? You think you're being productive, but that adrenaline rush, eventually it runs out, and then your body is in trauma. And you don't eat well, and there's more hormones and more chemicals, and on it goes. Okay, so November. Oh, we've got a Scorpio here, and there's a Gemini and another Gemini. with a Leo rising. Oh, and remember, folks, we're still in the energy and the guise of the solar eclipse in Capricorn and the lunar eclipse in Leo. So that coupled with the Mercury in retrograde in Pisces is going to make for a fun time coming up. We're in the pre-phase, so we're already feeling it. You might have a little bit of glitchy technology, wondering why. We just installed, what was it, Dean? It's a new radio in our car, stereo thing that has Bluetooth, so that we don't fumble with our phones anyway in the car because we're smart about that. But in case of emergency, we just have it on in case I need to, at a red light, call my husband. I just press a button and it goes through the speakers. Well, it worked and then it didn't work. I don't know if I have the focus right now to do that. Okay, so, Dawn says, amazing, I suffer adrenal issues. Okay, so you're going to want to hear this about these 3 happy hormones in your body. So ashwagandha helps cortisol. Also, a lifestyle of getting to bed by 10 o'clock at night. It's a must. If you want to preserve your adrenals and to help you lose the weight that you can't lose, or to get calm and get out of your head and stop that flight or fight syndrome in your body, it's really important that you get to bed by 10 o'clock. Turn off all the technology by 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, and then you go to bed and you read a little bit, do a little meditation. Your adrenals repair themselves beginning at 10 p.m. So you want to go by the body clock too. So ashwagandha helps, a teaspoon, and it, I don't do the pills. I do the powder because it's more effective, but it doesn't really taste so great. You have the big belly, Aries says, Laura Lee says. And, it's also diet too. So you want to keep low on the sugar and the carbs to, 20 carbs a day, 5 to 10 sugars a day. And you're going, what? The average person does over 50 grams of sugar a day. No wonder we're one of the biggest countries in the world. I mean, fat countries. Because most people are exercising on top of extreme fatigue. And so that's a burnout for your adrenals. So if you are working out, walking is really great if you have adrenal burnout. You want to help to heal those adrenals, right? And this is a chemical that will undermine everything in your body, all the happy 70 plus hormones in your body. So at night, aside from the ashwagandha that you take before bed, you put it in water or tea, take a little sip, glug it back, and it'll actually help to repair while your body's doing its job. You can also take an amino acid called L-theanine. It helps with the receptors in the brain, helps you to fall asleep faster. Some people respond better to melatonin, and some people do well with L-theanine. So think about these things. And what else was I going to say? Oh, let's get to these happy hormones now. Okay, so one is called dopamine, right? You know about this. You've heard and you've felt it. Dopamine rush is you have a future event or there's a goal that you're moving toward. So every time you think of this, remember your brain chemicals and your body chemicals, they all work together. So and your brain doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. So if you're watching a movie where someone gets pushed off the top of a building, and your body goes, oh my God, your body has a chemical reaction. Your stress levels go up. People sometimes like scary movies because it makes them feel alive, right? Or adventure, or movies like Cliffhanger or Vertical Limit, where you're climbing something and in fear of falling. The show Ozark, the constant stress. So, but it makes you feel alive. That's not a dopamine rush. That's an adrenaline rush. So we want to get you focused on a goal that makes you happy. You're going on a weekend vacation. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be, I'm going out to dinner next Thursday. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. Every day, right? Not just once a year. Mark Wildman says, will you have my baby? Yeah, physically unable to, but thanks for the offer. Tempting, but no. When you have a future event, you're looking at something that hasn't happened yet. It's in your mind. It is the future, but yet your body feels like the anticipation of it. You just can't, you can't maintain a dopamine high. But if you're going through a stressful time and you need something to get you out of it, first, I recommend everything we just talked about: ashwagandha, the amino acids, L-theanine, melatonin, and to just help calm you down, vitamin C, not ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid, vitamin C, works against your adrenals. So you want plant-based vitamin C powder. Pure Energetics, Pure Radiance, I think is the brand, has a little bottle. It's pretty expensive, but you only need a quarter teaspoon. That or a little bit of lemon juice in warm water in the morning. What is acid turns alkaline in the body. So you're cool. Just rinse your mouth and brush your teeth so the acid doesn't hurt the enamel. But when you're looking at the setting up something positive for the future, you will come back to it. So you finish 5 hours of work and you say, oh, I just want to look at that hotel we're going to next month. And you get this happy feeling. Or the anticipation of achieving a goal where you know you've got to finish a project by a certain date or deadline. There may be stress that goes along with it, but focus on how good it's going to feel to get that project done. So you can actually initiate a dopamine dump and a rush just by having something planned that you come back to in moments of stress. And you go to the website and you look at the hotel and you go, oh, look, they have a spa, or they have a great fitness room, or we're going to that restaurant on the weekend, or we're going to see the show or the game or the thing or whatever. And, so that you have a future event to keep you excited. That is where dopamine is going to come from. Now, what we're doing right now, well, let me get to that one last, actually. I'm going to pull a card for folks on the call who are needing a little bit of happy hormone. What's the focus when you want happy hormones? Let's look at our happy cards and see. I'm just looking at what some of the people have written. Laura Lee, you eat keto? Is that what you mean? So do I. But you got to go off keto every once in a while to give your body a rest and add a little carb. And I don't mean bread or pasta. Do a little rice, every 3 to 4 months. Just a little carb, that healthy carb, not just vegetables, but to help you regulate your thyroid too, because the thyroid really wants carbs. So, all right. A happy hormone card for everyone. Here we go. Oh, whoops, it fell. Authenticity. I mean, this helps a lot anyway. If you're pretending to be someone else in the world and you have to put on a show or a happy face, that's stressful. So you want to be as authentic as possible with yourself to create those hormones. Now, if you are a parent, speaking of, will I have your baby? There's a hormone associated with pride and also parenting. And that's oxytocin. And that hormone helps you to feel like you've accomplished something. That's my kid. When our daughter was 5 and we put her in kindergarten, it was a Montessori school. And it was toward the end of the year. She just went for 1 month to try it out to see if she liked it, and then she would start up again a few months later. And they had an end of the year event where kids were learning to quote the Pledge of Allegiance. And so we taught our daughter the Pledge of Allegiance, and if she wanted to learn it, and get up in front of a crowd with a microphone. And they didn't have to. It was not mandatory. But she's only been there a week. And she grabs the microphone and she just goes right to it. I pledge allegiance to the flag, as if she were a born speaker, to the United States of America. I mean, like she had it all planned. It was hysterical. And she was so authentic in that. It was so endearing. But Dean and I were there watching, and our happy hormones or oxytocin levels, just, pride in accomplishment, because she is now representing the clan. She is representing our family. So when you're a mom and you're nursing, it's there too. And that helps to keep you calm while there's all this new, so many hormones happening in your body when you're a parent, right? But when you have this sense of pride and the sense of connection to what's making you proud, that's a happy hormone. Now, my favorite one, and I think it's most people's, aside from the addiction that these things can produce, right? You have to be careful of cell phone and EMF waves. Because that interrupts the information between your cells. And so the happy chemicals and the happy hormones can't be there as much, except the addiction. Please do not mistake your happy hormones for addiction. And while we're entering into this Mercury in retrograde in Pisces, Dean will post a link, and you can also click on the blue Book Now button for a session with me so that we can find out where you sabotage yourself, where the addictions are, and how you can stop so that you can redirect toward happy hormones, happy chemicals, and accomplishment. So we want to make sure that the illusion isn't there. In a Mercury in retrograde in Pisces, a lot of times you think, oh yeah, this is great, I feel, when it's really not helping you. And the average person checks their cell phone every 7 seconds. That's an addiction. And when the EMF waves, and they say to literally put it in airplane mode if you're not using it. And really don't use it all the time, because these waves interrupt the information between your cells. So how do you know if you're happy? How do you know if you're having an adrenaline rush and you mistake it for, oh, this is great, I'm getting stuff done, I feel productive, and your eyes are like this and you're drinking a cup of coffee and you're like, yeah, this is great. No, it's not great. It's damaging. So happiness, serotonin, comes from that feeling and that sense of belonging. What happens when a person goes on Facebook and posts what they ate for lunch yesterday, or what the weather looks like, or they get comments, and those comments produce serotonin, like, oh, I belong to the group, I'm part of the crowd, I'm part of the clan, I have a sense of camaraderie and support. My community is out there, and I'm going to find them. So anytime somebody says, oh, I hurt my back yesterday, and people they don't know say, oh, feel better, it's okay, here, try this remedy, you have a sense of community. And that sense of community spikes your serotonin. Now, that's a wonderful, happy, beautiful thing. You can do that at family gatherings. You can actually combine your happy hormones. Hey, we're gonna have a birthday party for little Janie, and the family's coming, and some of her friends, and I'm so excited. There's a dopamine rush, and there's serotonin. You're combining family and community, sense of belonging, with that future event, that goal, that fun thing that's happening down the road, that gives you hope. I know someone who is healing lung cancer and had, it was a shock. This person never smoked and was very healthy, and suddenly was diagnosed with stage 4 out of the blue. It was like a sucker punch, and worked very diligently to heal, and then set up a vacation schedule so that she had something to look forward to. She'd meet her goals through, terrible, rough times with all the chemo and the radiation, and lost a lot of weight, and then had family gatherings, and then set up vacations, small ones, weekend trip, twice a month, just to take a drive, something to look forward to for the future, to believe that she would have a future. So that's an extreme case, and she's healing, doing really well. Actually, it's only been 10 months. And doing really well. So if you're undergoing, I'm just going to see the thread if there's anything else. If you're undergoing anything stressful, who isn't? Are you living in a cave with catering and housekeeping? Can I come and visit, please? If you're undergoing any kind of stress, it's a given. I would like you to set up small events, set a goal. Now, I'm not talking about clear the clutter goal, although that can be something if it, floats your boat. But I'm always talking about clear the clutter. But I'm talking about something social where you just get out of the house and you don't have to spend a lot of money, right? It doesn't have to be this, a cruise, a Disney cruise or something, It's you find a little place in town, you can go to a cafe, and it can be spontaneous, especially with the retrograde coming up. Call ahead and make sure they're still open and they're serving your favorite drink. Let's combine all the information we know to help you get ahead, to help you feel empowered. That's what this is all about, folks. This is what I'm talking about. So what kind of stress are you having right now? That's what I'd like to know. Please let me know in the comment section. What kind of stress are you undergoing right now? And it can be you're up all night with the kids. Your son is sick and has the flu and you didn't get any sleep and you had to call in sick, and that's stressful because you don't want to take too many days. Or maybe you're just anticipating being snowed in. Some people are just snowed in. They can't get out. And that's stressful. And they're, got the cabin fever. So let me know what kind of stress you are experiencing right now. I'm going to take a sip of my drink. Hold on. And pull another card for you. Transformational astrology is where it's at, right? And, this is more than just astrology, folks. And you know what I say, that the planets don't do anything to you. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that in the heavens. So it's like looking at a lab report, a blueprint. It's not doing it to you. You're doing it. Astrology merely tells you what time it is. And for it to be anything else, and if you hear any other astrologer or person saying that, oh, Mars is doing this thing to me, no, it's not. You're doing this thing to you. Okay? Are we clear? I'm going to pull another card. Let me know what you're undergoing right now. As we head into now on Thursday, I'll be back talking about Mars entering the sign of Taurus and what that's going to represent on Valentine's Day. And for those of you who don't, let's not buy into the traditional, it's got to be from a guy, it's got to be a box of chocolates, it's got to be, the romance. Let's not buy into that. All right, let's change the conversation, shall we? And the conversation can be, why don't I treat myself to something? Oh, here's something that happened. I'll tell you ahead of time. I'm also going to mention it on Thursday, on Valentine's Day. I went to the doctor, got my lab report, and was going over stuff with my doc. And everything was great. And, yay, I'm healing. I healed my thyroid. Hooray. And I was looking at some other herbs that I could take for other things. And I saw a flyer on her desk, and it was for a crystal facial. Now, I'd never had a crystal facial before, and I like to experiment with new things so that I can pass things along to my clients and to you, my viewers. So I said, oh, well, what's this about? And she told me, she said, the other doctor in her practice is now doing this. And I thought, well, great, I'm going to take a card. I will call later before you close your office. So I had all these errands to run. I ran the errands. I came home. I was just like, okay, I was done. I was toast. I was tired. Then I look at the clock and, oh, darn, I missed it. I wanted to call before the office closed. And just as I'm thinking this, the phone rings and my husband answers and he says, yeah, hang on a second. And he says, it's the doctor's office. So I take the phone. Hi. Yes, they say, we were talking about you. And I said, really? Why? Did I leave something at the office? And the receptionist said, no, we think you would be a prime candidate to get Dr. Bailey's crystal facial on the house if you would let us take photographs of you for marketing purposes. I was like, yes, are you sure? I was just about to call to book a session. Really? And they said, yeah, so it was like I just got a gift. And I said, when? And they said, how about Valentine's Day? And I was like, thank you. So I got a Valentine's gift. And I said to my husband, you don't have to get me anything. I just got something. But that's not letting him off the hook. He's taking me out to lunch. But what I'm saying is, in the conversation of what you can be doing and talking about right now is, how can I feel better about my life? What can I do for me to help me feel better about my life? And, some self-love. Let's put some self-love into the equation. Why not? So I'd like you to think about that while you're thinking about your happy hormones and what you can do for yourself. Hi, Sasha. So Dawn says Uranus is headed to my midhaven in Taurus. Okay, so big changes afoot for you, right? Deciding about your life, your future, your career, but doing it through technology or higher vibration, or possibly astrology. Uranus represents astrology, and Taurus is a very steadfast, loyal, and security-based sign and energy. Okay, one more card for the folks. Harmony. I love this card. I pull this one a lot. Maybe I just gravitate toward it. Harmony. Harmony and me. Okay, so you want to get with the harmonious program with your happy chemicals. Does this make sense? Give me a thumbs up, a heart, or something. Mention something in the comment section. When I do readings for people, and if you've had a reading with me, you already know this. Not only do I give homework, but I talk about your karmic stuff. And karma's not good or bad. It's merely a balancing of and harmonizing of energy. And I look at where certain things are happening in your life, your timing. Not, again, the planets aren't doing anything to you. I'm looking at your timing and what you're ready for. Sometimes we will buy a book or get information and we read it maybe halfway, kind of, half-heartedly, and we put it on the shelf. And then 2 years, 5 years, 10 years later, it drops off the shelf. We pick it up again. We look at it. We are different people, we hope. And we look at that information and say, I'm ready for that now. I'm ready for it. So when I look at someone's information in a reading, it's not just, oh, Mars is doing this or Taurus is, in your blah, blah. No, it's about, why have you come to this earth? And how can I help move you along toward the path of your joy, toward your contribution, your bliss, your happiness, and to help you stop sabotaging yourself and connecting the dots between what you want to happen and what is happening, so that you can create this energetic bridge and see results. I'm all about seeing results. That's where I am. So dopamine, just to recap, dopamine, future goal, anticipating something fun. Set up something fun for yourself, especially if you're under a lot of stress or doing something that is tedious. You have to just sort through the thing, and it's like, plan something, an outing with a friend, some tea, a bookstore. Just get out and do something different so that you have something to look forward to. Then the belonging, the sense of belonging with community, with family, with Facebook. Now, I don't recommend being on Facebook more than 15 minutes a day, because it can become an energy suck, and it can become such a distraction. And I'm talking about any social media, from Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, all that stuff. It's just another distraction, right, to who you're becoming and who you choose to be on this earth. So give it 15 minutes, feel that sense of community, then set up your own. Have a book club come to the house once a month. Have a dream club come to the house. Set up something where you create a sense of community. With or without family. It can be with friends, with people you meet at the library, at the store, where you'll know what to do. Think about how to harmonize your life through these actions, and then to make this chemical reaction in your body work for you, instead of it becoming an addiction, which is the biggest distraction from your pure conscious love, from the person you came here to be. All right, folks, I'll be back on Thursday with some Valentine hearts and hugs for you. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Be well, be sparkly, As always, I wish you peace. And remember to click on the blue Book Now button, or there should be a post somewhere in the thread. And to get that session with me, it's a 40-minute session, Mercury in retrograde in Pisces. And we're going to go deep and go wide. All right, be well. I'll see you again.